Hero Club presents Los Ingobernables de Tokusatsu. Welcome to a brand new episode of Los Ingobernables de Tokusatsu. And I'm your host, Wheelchair21, and joining me practically almost as always, since Projekt seems to pop in and out of these shows, it is the Janitor Joker, aka Sanbosh.
Yeah, beep! I'm gonna beep, 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 beep. I've just censored myself before you could censor me, Wheels.
I know, you always do this to me. You always do this to me. But, yeah, no, we're on our 23rd episode. I still keep getting shocked that, we're actually probably going to break a record of what Tan could never do in its entire official first season, which is get past, 26 episodes, a first season's run. Which is ironic, because, I said to myself, if I do another podcast again, I would have, a hiatus kind of thing, where I'd break it into seasons. But I think if we ever decide to call ourselves Los Ingobernables Season 1, Season 2, it's probably going to be after we hit, an official amount of Sentai level of episodes to, 48 to 52, or 48, anywhere between 48 to 52. So we'll have, 48, maybe 50 episodes, 52 episode seasons. We don't know yet, but we at least want to make it that each season matters to us.
Bullshit. Oh.
You thought I meant to the audience. Nah. Come on now. Unless the audience actually starts commenting that it matters, then I'll know it matters.
We get comments?
I think a few. Most of it's been spam lately.
Okay.
Lately.
I just know that someone said that they liked an anime, which had nothing to do with the topic at hand.
Alright. Anyways, for this episode this week, for our 23rd episode, the Lit List will feature some brief news that we got in, mostly about Godzilla Monster Planet, and we got the actual prices for the upcoming Legacy toys that we talked about previously during our SDCC coverage. And then we're doing, our freaking episode discussion on the TOHO Legends. I don't know why, but for some reason, while we were doing this episode lead-in, I completely forgot that the discussion was TOHO Legends until I remembered I had to say TOHO Legends, big and bold. Because we're going to be talking about the guys that help, pretty much direct the films, compose the films, do the special effects, and then we're going to talk about actors and some of our overall favorite casts on how they resonated with one another. And now this may be an easy, wank fest, because with Toho, it's, usually very casual bait. If you're a Godzilla fan, pretty much you know who's the good, you know who's the bad, so on and so forth. And some of these guys we're just throwing in there because, hey, they appeared in other Toku shows. Nevertheless, though, I'm going to throw this over to Mucha to do the news, because, I'm kind of tired of always doing the news.
Power Rangers Legacy Zeonizer, Golden Staff, and Green Ranger Helmet all have prices to them that you can pre-order on Entertainment Earth. The Legacy Zeonizer is $104.99. The 99 cents is important, Wheels, because if it was 105...
It's always important. Come on, man. It's always important.
Yeah, because that 1 cent changes everything. The Gold Power Staff, which, holy shit, I'm looking at the price, I'm like, nigga, no, is $154.99. So, just be embracing the poorness that you're going to have if you buy these things. And then you have the helmet, which is also $104.99. So you got two things that are $104.99, and then you have this $154.99, and everything's going to go to shit for you, because if you buy all three, you probably won't pay your rent.
Now, here's the thing that I realized. Because of in the store, the helmet already is at $99.99. I'm guessing that's Entertainment Earth's minor surplus fee, so they make some money back.
Probably.
It's just their fee, because it's the MSRP kind of thing, where they can gauge it either $5 up or $5 below price. And so I'm guessing the green helmet is just about $100 before tax. The Zeonizer is $100. Now, here's the funny thing. I already have, technically a gold Zeonizer back from the day when they released the King Brace in North America, even though Jason was never seen to actually use it, and the only time we ever technically saw it was when we saw the, the actual Zeonizer crystal be used in King Pyramiter/Pyramidas footage. So, I'm even playing with it right now. You can even hear, right now, me flipping it just to fuck with people, because I'm a dick like that. But, for $100, it kind of makes sense. That's almost complete selection modification level. But Toei standards, and I'm gonna probably consider getting the regular Zeo one, just because I never had the original one. I'd like to do that, because if I ever was to cosplay as Zeo Red strapped to the chair when he was getting his brain drained into Altor, that episode of King for a Day that I told you, Mucha, that we need to cosplay together. Like, you'll be Altor, what is it, Bara King, and I'll just be JDF strapped to a chair, screaming in agony, as you get to read my mind.
And then when I find out is that you apparently have people that want to kill you in Arizona.
But yeah, no. So no, Zeonizer's great. The King Stick, or the Gold Power Staff, I'll get it, but I'm gonna have to save up a pretty penny, because my original Gold Power Staff is getting kind of old. The electronics are fading, and even though I got the King Stick from Japan, I do intend to sell the King Stick at one point or another when I have the time to get it out of storage, when I got a whole bunch of crap from Yahoo Japan auctions. So I'm going to probably put that up for sale and keep my original, but I would like to have a more almost 1-to-1 scale prop to put on my freaking bookshelf, where pretty much all of my figure arts are, displayed in a glorious fashion, as well as my collector edition box sets for like Transformers gift sets and Pokemon plushes stay at this time. So I'll probably get those. But these helmets, I know people can use them, and some people are complaining that they're not completely correct for cosplay purposes, but they just have to have on your shelf. You can sometimes wear them to screw around at home, but you shouldn't be really wearing them for cosplay. You gotta go, unfortunately, with people like Aniki and the other guys that make these helmets to get a really good one, if you want to make sure if you trip and fall, because at cons you never know who's going to be a dick and just put out one of their long ass katana blade swords trying to be a Sephiroth, and you're just not going to see it and trip. So you don't want to damage $100 helmet. You rather spend your money on a $300 helmet where it's going to protect you and itself from the damage.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, you and me can agree. Holy shit. Yeah, no, price is outrageous, bruh. But that's the legacy line for you.
The price of these things is too damn high. Like the rent. So in other news, we got some more casting for that great CGI animated film of Godzilla called Godzilla Monster Planet, written by Gen Urobuchi and produced by Polygon Pictures, where Godzilla is basically the goddamn Earth, apparently. I don't fucking know.
How you're so uninterested. As more information comes out of this film, you're just nope, ain't doing this, boss. Nope.
The trailer didn't leave much to be desired, Wheels. It didn't.
Hey, neither did freaking Legendary Godzilla, and it somewhat worked.
That's only because the Legendary one lied, Wheels. It lied.
How did it lie? How did it lie to us all?
Remember?
Actually, don't. We're not going into this right now.
Listen, Wheels. We're going doing this, man.
Okay,
listen, remember the scene where that trailer where they were showing when they were jumping out of the plane and they were going into San Francisco when it was all fucked up?
Yeah.
Now you remember that, how in the movie they just saw the Muto and Godzilla fighting, right?
Yeah.
In the trailer, they just show Godzilla walking.
In the trailer, they just show Godzilla walking. It was a fucking lie.
And you know how when the door closes, when the other Olsen...
Oh, yeah, when she sees him and Godzilla's roaring, and really it's him getting attacked by a Muto?
Yeah, these niggas lied, Wheels. I do not appreciate lies.
You don't appreciate lies.
That's why I don't like certain Toku fans, whose names will be bleeped out by Wheels yet again.
And you can only get it on our Patreon.
That's right, the Patreon that doesn't exist.
Yet.
Alright, so in the Monster Planet we got Elliot Leland, a 32-year-old English colonel, and the leader of the operation to retake...
The fuck? Was that a gunshot?
No, it was the Toku fans coming after me.
Okay,
I shot them.
Well, we're good. We're good, Sunbush. Continue on.
A 32-year-old Englishman colonel who is the leader of the operation to retake Earth. Elliot is frustrated with the governance of the colony ship and hopes to shake things up and solidify his own power by defeating Gojira. And he'll be portrayed by voice actor Daisuke Ono, who I love as Jotaro Kujo from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which everyone should watch.
Because Sono Chino Salome. What else did he do, though? What is the other rules?
Alright.
I'm gonna put you on the spot, motherfucker.
Okay. Other roles? I think he did something for Attack on Titan, but as you know,
I said good anime.
Oh. Shit.
Yeah,
I
got
only
you in a
know
bind.
Black Butler's like a good anime.
Yeah, I know it's a good anime, but I've not watched it.
Sebastian? He was Sebastian in Black Butler.
What else was he?
Shizuru and Durara.
Okay, what else?
Those are his notable roles.
Yeah,
I don't know
to
if
know more.
Sunny took. Well, you need to know more.
I need to know more.
He was Johto Kujo in Diamonds Are Unbreakable. You expect that twist, did you, bitch? I'm not sure if he's done any other Toku, though.
I don't know either. I don't even think this anime counts as Toku. It's just anime of a Toku. It's not
I
an
mean-
actual Toku. Anyways, yeah, no, I recognize some of his other roles that they're kind of expected. I think I know a few of them, not that many, but like they're like, you know, kind of support either one-off characters that, you know, are just either memorable due to like maybe the arc of the show or story that was going on. But yeah, okay.
He's the guy who killed Dio. He killed Dio, man. Spoilers for
that's
Stardust
good.
Crusaders.
That's
He
a good
killed
thing.
Dio.
Dio needs to die.
Dio is oh man, we're going to talk about Dio. I can't do this. If I talk
I know,
about
it'll be
Dio,
another
I'm gonna slow
episode. It's going to be another episode. I know.
down. Yeah. Alright, so we also got Kenta Miyake, who's playing a name that I will never pronounce, but Rilu Elu Belu B. He sounds like a fucking Grongi name.
Where's Godai? We need Godai. Godai.
Yeah. Well, he is an alien. A 55-year-old, about 35 in human years, alien from the planet Belisard. Relu Elu serves as a military instructor and spends so much time around humans that it's different to tell that he belongs to an alien species.
What the fuck is this motherfucker gonna do? Call in Nebula Space Hunter M to send in Gigan?
Dude, that'd be like legit shit. I would watch it for that. No, that's where Orga comes from. His planet's the origin of Orga.
And this is how you make a great movie. Oh my god, then we just need Hiroshi Abe, like a guy designed as like the prime minister of their planet. And it's Hiroshi Abe. Godzilla!
Let's see. I'm trying to look at other things that Kenta did. He did a bunch of Toku. He was the Zeusorg in the Gao Ranger movie.
Yo! That's like
He
one
was
of my
the
favorite
L of
movies.
Earth. He was the L of Earth in Agito.
I don't remember some of these right away. I have to like remember the arc to know.
L of Earth was that legit shit that got kicked by God.
Oh yeah, wasn't he the one that was like just the orb that got kicked at the end, like at the very fucking
No,
end?
that was the Overlord of Darkness. The L of Earth was the one that Agito fought, I believe. Let's see. I saw something that people probably would recognize him for in anime, but as you know, anime and I are like the best of friends.
They're not the best of friends. Don't trust
Like,
him.
all I'm going to do is say, like, he's from JoJo. Like, that's all I'm going to say. He was Muhammad Abdal in JoJo.
Why do I have a feeling that's one of the Pillar Men?
No, he's part of the Stardust Crusaders. He has
Oh, Jesus
Magician's
Christ.
Red. He's
So
the
wait. So this is Godzilla Stardust Crusaders. You're telling me it's not Monster Planet? It's fucking Stardust Crusaders.
Dude, I would watch that. I would watch the Stardust Crusaders fight Godzilla. And then Godzilla gets a fucking stand. Oh my god.
But Godzilla's stand is just a bigger Godzilla.
Like, what would Godzilla's stand be? Like,
Shit,
would it be-
Godzilla.
Oh man, would it be persecution of the masses, or would it be?
Yes, persecution of the. That would be its name. Persecution of the. Yes. Yes.
Man, this is sounding. We're making this movie sound better than it probably really is, but you know what? I don't fucking care.
Oh god, and then part 2 is when Dio shows up, and then part 3 is like when fucking like, you know, Ambulance appears. MVP. Ambulance
Okay.
MVP.
No, man, we have to get cars into this because it's the battle of the ultimate life forms.
Yes. Yes. Book this.
And then it only ends with Godzilla like launching cars into space again. Oh, he's also Scar in Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. But who fucking cares? This is JoJo we're talking about.
This is we're gonna get so much fan hate over FMA. I can't wait for it. Even though
I like the
enjoy it.
manga. The anime's shit.
But Brotherhood is the manga.
Nah, the manga's much better. It's much more coherent.
It's the same fucking thing.
The anime fucks over everything, Wheels.
No, Brotherhood was the correct adaptation. The other one was just called Full Metal Alchemist. Know your facts.
Anyway, we're off topic again because we went into JoJo, then we talked about humanity, and it's bad.
I don't know where Anno showed up.
Yeah, Anno. Ubero Tomori is a 56-year-old Italian general and the captain of the colony ship Eritrum. Prior to emigrating to space with the rest of humanity, Uberuto was a soldier who fought in a failed attempt to vanquish Godzilla. Which, what do you think was going to happen when you're going to do that? Oh, I'm going to kill Godzilla, guys. Let's go, my Italian friends. And then it fucks up. Everything's fucked up.
Listen, what they should have done was get a fucking black hole to shoot at him, because that'll obviously fucking work.
It didn't, though, Wheels. It didn't. Why? Why does Mechagodzilla try to tell us that Godzilla can survive a black hole? We don't need this in our minds.
I prefer the alternate ending that was never made, where you see a skeleton, like, years later on the moon with, like, its jaw over the earth. That was, like, the only cool thing about Megaguirus, but we didn't get that now, did we?
Could you imagine if, like, Godzilla, like, figured out a way to, like, enhance his, like, atomic breath to just shoot at the earth?
Wait, what?
Like, what if he, like, was on the moon, and, like, he didn't even die, like, he survived on the moon for, like, years and years, and he was just, like, channeling his power to, like...
So you're literally saying he somehow became fucking Anno Godzilla and shoots a fucking laser beam straight to Earth like the Death Star?
Yes.
You know what? Make it happen.
Make it happen. Anyway, Uberto is played by Kenyu Horuuchi, which... Does anyone know who that is? Because I'm kind of not in the whole anime game, as I said. If you're JoJo, I probably know you, but if you're not, probably not. Do you know who that is, Wheels? Because I don't.
I am stumped. I am fucking stumped.
Kazuhiro Yamaji is Endorf, a 105-year-old, about 50 in human years, alien of the Exif species. Endorf is a cardinal in the Exif religious order, and he also serves in the military in a civilian capacity, which means he will probably look at Godzilla like a god.
Or he's gonna be a dick and say, like, no, you can't exist. Only I can exist because I believe in God. You're no god. Shun the non-believer. Pew 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 pew.
Yeah, you didn't run the Zahab though, so it's all good. Apparently
it's weird. I only recognize him for doing like video game voices.
Apparently he does dubbing roles for
Jason Statham. Yeah.
Jason and Hugh Jackman and Sean Penn and Russell Crowe.
Yeah. Like I'm looking at it now because I'm like sitting here. I'm like, man, I would have thought.
God.
I would have thought you would have been more on your A game, but I'm like, wait, Mucha doesn't do anime. What the fuck in life is this then? What?
Oh my God.
What
William Dafoe. He was William Dafoe, and he was the Green Goblin. Oh my God, I'm sold. I'm sold, Wheels! Kazuya Nakai plays Halu Elu Dolu Do, which that sounds like a lyric from the Kaku Ranger opening.
It probably fucking was.
Is a 70-year-old, about 40 in human years, alien of the planet Bolusard. Halu Elu is a lieutenant general and the commander of his people. He is known for having an unflappable and sober disposition.
Yeah, no, but I was checking it out, and honestly, I think like some of these actors are technically good, since they're obviously prominent actors right now. But you never know.
Kazuya Nakai is Zoro from One Piece, but he's also Mugen from Samurai Champloo, but he's also Kami Blue and Q Ranger.
Yeah, so obviously we're not gonna get fucked. Nothing can go wrong here. Nothing.
Okay, let's not go too far. So, what do you think of the cast, Wheels?
It's questionable. I mean, the CG is what's really hurting the film for me. It's mostly just the CG.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the polygon.
Yeah, polygon's kind of weird.
I wanted it to be like what we said. I want it to be what we talked about, where it's like Godzilla gets a stand and Cars comes back.
We're not getting that.
We're not getting that, guys. We're not. We're just getting, I don't know, Battlestar Galactica versus Godzilla.
That's exactly what it is.
And Godzilla is, I guess, Earth Prime. Because Barry Allen did something wrong.
Again. God damn it.
Every time you look at an event that's gone wrong, just blame Barry Allen. That's what I do.
Alright, so, as we were saying earlier on in this episode, that kind of maybe dragged on a little bit too longer than we expected, and I'll probably have to end up editing most of it. Yeah, we were talking about TOHO Legends, whether they be alive, whether they be dead, but most of the ones that really laid the groundwork for Kaiju and Tokusatsu, the initial, like, early on, true aunts of Godzilla movies, or, regular Toho classic movies. And I almost threw up. My apologies. But, yeah, the thing we want to talk about...
You were thinking about Marvel, weren't you?
No, I just almost threw up.
No, you were thinking about Marvel. I know you.
I wish, but I'm not a super Marvel hater.
I'm not even a Marvel hater. I just think their decisions are terrible.
Yeah, that's what I do. But alright, so, what I was trying to say is, though, we're going to go into three ways. We're going to talk about the guys who made it first, we're going to talk about the actors, and then we're going to talk about overall, like, how the cast resonate, as I said earlier on. And, Mucha, you can pretty much take the reins, yet again, for this episode about, who you want to start with, whether it be director, Ishiro Honda, producer, Tanaka, composer.
Well, yeah, like, I feel like we should talk about, like, the big five that really, from the original, that really brought Godzilla to life, in a sense. Like, we already talked about Nakajima last episode and how he essentially is Godzilla. So there's that. But there's also Tanaka, Ishiro Honda, Eiji Tsuburaya, and Akira Ifukube, who all played a part in making Godzilla's identity, whether it's through music with Akira, the special effects with Eiji, the directing with Honda, or just the idea with Tanaka. All these guys have, like, some contribution, and it's always debatable, like, who is technically, like, the father of Godzilla. But you can make an argument that all of them have a role to play in the creation of what made Godzilla Godzilla.
Yeah, because a lot of people that are Godzilla historians, and even guys that worked on the set, said if it wasn't Tanaka was, like, the true backbone and spirit of keeping the Godzilla movies alive, where, if I recall correctly, it was mostly Honda and Eiji at one point that wanted to, like, at least work on the vision and, I guess, the allegories, in a sense. Like, he was the one who was like, I like this idea, let's go with it, I will back you 100%. He was, like, their sole backer, and they were the ones who, like, got the ball rolling for them. And it just advanced further. Because, like, that's the thing, is, like, when I watch these movies, since I only know of Tanaka through, like, interviews that people have either had with him or with others. Like, his presence is there from their experience being hands-on guys on the films, where for me, I don't really see his vision really there at times, because, like, I feel like when you put Honda as the director, he's like one of those guys is like Kurosawa, because he and Kurosawa were friends, that you see what they see, and you don't really see what the producers kind of put in there that, make sure that the directors stay on course. You see usually a director's vision or your screenwriter's vision as seen through the director, but you rarely see, like, the executive producer in some cases, unless you come over to, like, North America with Spielberg, Michael Bay, and other productions like that. It's more noticeable. But back then with Japanese, cinematography, you could exclusively see, mostly through his eyes. And then when it would work with him and Tsuburaya working together to do the actual kaiju scenes and scenarios, one could easily, grasp, like, the work that went in there and a lot of the hardships. As I recall reading in a couple of books, there were portions in which Eiji Tsuburaya himself would, like, pull all-nighters in his own office, either designing new ways to innovate the special effects, or just to make sure, they were able to pull this shit off without anyone getting, like, injured and stuff like that. And that was also when he also had to start working, his own company, doing the early Ultra series. He was, like, going back and forth between Toho and his own company. So, like, I feel when you look at the core early kaiju genre, a lot of it was carried on those four men mostly. And even then, like, Akira Ifukube would, like, jump in and out of Godzilla movies here and there, but a majority of his scores would still kind of seep through even to the modern era. And I think that's what kept Godzilla really going, was what they did with the groundwork. You know what I'm saying? Of them wanting to
Well,
first
they were able
make
to
it
like
off the atomic bomb and protest to it.
like they were able to capture the like frustrations and identity of the people of Japan at that time when they were creating the first Godzilla.
Yeah, and I think they were able to capture it several other times with some of their other movies. Like, I feel that, like, aside from Godzilla, Rodan is a good example of, like, certain issues.
Yeah,
I feel that, like, Frankenstein Conquers the World and War of the Gargantuas also captures some elements of not knowing what the unknown is. But then, like, with Mothra and Dagora, I feel like those are just sci-fi films. You know what I'm saying? To me, like, just they feel like
the mushroom people?
Matango is a good horror film. It is straight up like,
but kind of like a weird commentary about like how society's like losing its way to like life.
It really is a good commentary. It is when you think about it, because I watched the Rare Tokyo Shot commentary with Akira Kubo, who we'll talk about probably later in the episode, a little bit later. But it was like a commentary between like I think him, a translator, and the guy hosting it. And I remember he was explaining like a lot. The thing that made it the scariest was the portrayal of like human commentary. And when you sit back and look at that movie Matango, nowadays it's kind of like probably like a good setup to possibly been like an incentive to help John Carpenter make The Thing, the reboot of it. Because if you think about it, Carpenter's Thing is Matango meets the original 54 film and proper respectful adaptation of the short story that was created in 1948. And I feel like Matango, like a part of Matango, you could see in John Carpenter's The Thing. As I kind of went off tangent, like I said though, Matango, like I forget who was the director for Matango. Was it Honda?
I want to say it was, because I think he talked about how the writer for Matango was that was his best script.
Yeah, like I think when I look at the Matango film, it's really amazing. Like it's good. It stands out. Yes, it was Honda, and it was screenplay by Takeshi Kimura, which, why do I recognize that name?
He did a couple of Godzilla movies.
Yeah, he did King Kong Escapes, Destroy... That's why. Because I love Rodan, Frankenstein Conquers the World, and War of Gargantuas. And honestly, I think those are his 3 best films. Rodan, Matango... No, 4 best films. Those are his best movies ever. I think they are probably best, to be honest.
Best girl.
But, I know they say, yeah, his best work is Matango, but looking at his other filmography, no, he's created a lot of masterpieces for the Kaiju-eiga genre, so... even though, we almost forgot about him, yeah, he's like an unsung hero right now for...
Yeah, but he's a commie, though, so can I really like him?
Shut up. Back then, anyone could have been a commie in Japan. You never know.
Yeah, but still, they're not really people.
As I was trying to say before, I had to censor Mucha for, the 3rd time in the episode.
It's becoming, a theme now.
Yeah, it's becoming a theme, because we have to support that Patreon. But, yeah, no, as you were saying, no... Freaking Kimura, pretty good. And the funny thing is, I didn't even notice that The Voice in the Night, it's based on that book, story or short story. It's kind of interesting now. I want to actually go read it and see more about it. But yeah, as we were saying about the main 4, it's really hard to discuss really how and who, in a sense, could you tell who's really, the head honcho. I think the fact that Tanaka stayed with the project and the character is why he's considered the real father.
It's kind of weird how fitting it is that he died after Destroya when Godzilla died.
I don't think it's fitting. I think it's just more of a weird irony. Is that...
I would say it's fitting just because it's kind of like he died along with, his child.
Maybe.
In a sense.
I think in a spiritual way... of the whole, a parent shouldn't outlive their child kind of thing. It kind of works in, that metaphorical analogy, but, yeah.
But I would still love to see, a junior series.
I would. I would. But, it's probably not ever going to happen.
No, not anymore. Unless Godzilla Wars happens, where all the Godzillas come back.
Oh, God. But yeah, I think though, like when you look at it, yeah, Tanaka had the biggest role in the making
And
of
keeping
Godzilla.
him
At least
alive, I guess.
relevant. He really worked hard. He did work hard at keeping it.
Tanaka, I think one of Tanaka's bigger things was like the '84 film.
Yeah, because don't forget, what is it? Honda would not come back at points and said, "I'm out." Like he would just dip out on them. It's like, you made Godzilla a hero, you made him like a marketable character, you made him like a franchise, and I didn't want really anything. And he's like, I don't want really anything to do with it. And then Eiji dies, and he's like, all right, I'll do this. And then he does like one other film, which is Terror of Mechagodzilla, if I recall. And then Honda never touches the Godzilla franchise, I think, ever again.
Yeah.
Never.
Funny story. I think I've heard. This is a funny story about Akira Ikefube. It involved him like not being involved with the music for 1984, and I don't know if it's like a true story, but just hearing about it makes me laugh because he said something along the lines like, "I don't do music for 80-meter monsters" or something. Like he didn't like appreciate like what 84 was going for, like making Godzilla bigger and everything like that.
Yeah, originally, if I recall, he was like completely against it until he started like I think that like I did hear that once before, was like that was his protest to it, until the money like really looked good from the film, as well as I heard the other reason was he himself kind of started realizing the only reason the creature had to get bigger was because the cities got taller.
Well, didn't he also say, I'm not sure if it was him or Honda maybe, that said like Godzilla died when Eiji died or something?
Yeah, that was Honda. Honda kind of stated that like without Eiji, Godzilla had no life, in a sense, because he really felt that Eiji was what really breathed the life into the monsters. You know, he brought the realism, in a sense, to the films that went on and occurred. And I do agree that when you lose Eiji, you lost like really the thing that made Godzilla fundamentally great. Now, that's not me knocking on the late Showa era or the Heisei era, but when you think about elements that Eiji was doing, when you look at all of his other films that are not Godzilla, he was always finding a way to outdo himself visually. And when you watch what is the making of special effects or whatever, where the surviving guys that worked with Eiji and Toho came together and like taught you how to do like how they did the infamous like underwater volcano scene in like Atragon and War of the Gargantuas, they were explaining like how when Eiji found out they were going to start making smaller and smaller monsters, he found so much more ways to put more detail into the set each and every time, like with Mothra, with the Gargantuas, with Baragon, Frankenstein Conquers the World. And it was just that he was able to do all these unique things that they think that had he not died as early as he did, he would have actually innovated Japanese cinematography, because they feel like Eiji would have been able to advance with the times of using suits, CG, and other technical animatronics that
like
he would have been able to literally make it that all of the Toho Kaiju and the and even the Ultra series would have been more spectacular than they already were.
Like, could you imagine if like he did the Cybot from '84? Like he was able to work on that?
If he was able to work on that, I think it would have been magic. I think it would have been wonderful. Hell, if Toho had the money to license out like Stan Winston and those guys, like from the 80s in America, Cybot would have been more of a success. It really would have been. But yeah, when it comes to the guys that built it up, it really shows that they knew what they were doing.
It's really hard to like determine like who was like really responsible for making Godzilla what it is. I would say all of them have like their contributions, so it's not really up for interpretation, like who you feel is responsible, but they all did something that was meaningful to create what Godzilla was.
The thing is, now when going into, you know, our casts and stuff, if I recall correctly, it wasn't just like Tanaka, but Honda themselves, like they had this whole resonating feel about how the studio worked, that they could sort of handpick their own in-house talent, as well as up-and-coming stars from other agencies that they would bring into their pool of talent incredibly. Like, they could just see, you were a star, you were a star, you were already a star, and they knew that how they could use these guys could make, their story mean even more. Like they knew how to, I think, gauge their talent pool, because if they wanted a more eccentric Godzilla cast where it was going to be a little bit more lighthearted and comedic, they knew who they wanted. If they wanted like real depth and serious, like, stories being depicted, they, knew who to drag in for those roles. And it was kind of interesting how certain actors that we're, going to be mentioning could play those roles. They were very versatile. They knew what they, in a sense, needed to do and needed to be when engaging one another and performing on set. For, like, the original film, that is a straight-laced, I would say, very... I don't want to say hard-boiled, but a lot of the cast was very stiff and realistic, I think, to the setting of the late 40s to 50s, like how they were raised in that generation. Like, they fit that mold, because you have Takarada, who in a lot of the movies he was in was always a very, like, stiff and stern character. Like, only a few times do we ever see him,
He's
like,
very,
outside the box.
I guess I wouldn't compare him to, like, Philip Marlowe, but a guy who's very serious about, like, his job that he's doing.
Yeah, like, it's weird that Takarada, as he's gotten older, and when he's offset, seems to be, like, somewhat a...
More
warmer individual, but on set, he's super serious. He's like, no, you gotta literally just do this, do that, and bam, like, he, like, has, like, that presence and aura about him. Like, he literally looks like he's very stern and stiff and tough and rugged. Like, he like, in some movies, like, you can see he's thinner in the first Godzilla movie, and then in later movies, he was, like, getting bulkier and bulkier, and you're like, damn, this guy looks like he could beat your ass and not even, like, lift a finger, But I thought he was just gonna shoot, like, laser beams out of his eyes and, like, beat you with Omega beams.
Oh my god, he is the Japanese Superman.
It's also weird when I'm, like, looking at his filmography, I never realized he's Japanese Jafar. He's goddamn Jafar.
So, I know we talked about, like, the big five, but I feel like there's, like, a sixth person who kind of embodies also Godzilla's meaning.
Oh, God. We kind of forgot about him, but we'll get there when we get to the actors, so we can talk more about him.
Yeah. The guy who became a video game character where you can play as him.
Oh, you mean that guy? Oh.
Yeah. Who are you thinking
of? The man who killed Godzilla. Oh, I thought you meant Fukuda.
Oh, Fukuda, nah.
Yeah.
I would put him there, but he comes off as a guy that did his job because...
Yeah, he did his job because he had to, yeah. No, yeah, the other guy who seemingly, like, put life into Godzilla was technically, his foil was Akihiko Hirata for Serizawa, which is the funny thing about Hirata as an actor. Most of the time we've ever seen him in Tokusatsu, he's normally, like, this very sophisticated, suave scientist, or a very, like, stiff college-y kind of teacher, you know what I'm saying? Like, the way he comes off. Like, he's either very suave or mysterious, or he's just very, also, I guess, I hate to use that term, but he was very hard-boiled, I guess, he was just very...
He could play both a hero and a villain, if he wanted.
Yeah, that was the good thing about him, was, when we see Serizawa, he's kind of an anti-hero. When we see him again in, I want to say, Rodan.
He's in Rodan, but he's also, when he returns Harada, he's in King Kong versus Godzilla.
Yeah, and he plays, like, just a regular scientist, but I feel like you could see, like, all of his things. He was always a man of science. Like, there was some sophistication about him, just when you saw him, that you just, like, it seemed like all they ever wanted to do with him was, you are science. And the only few times we've seen him outside that role was, like, when he was a part of the Red Bamboo Army, or just a few other roles that were not associated with the Toho, like, lineage. Yeah. Because, like, or I shouldn't say the Toho lineage, but the kaiju, like, the kaiju genre, because, like, he's been in a couple samurai films, and ironically, he's in 3 of my, favorite samurai films, the Samurai Trilogy, which starred Mifune. But he wasn't, like, one of the stars. He was, one of the supporting actors. But most of the time, in Toku, he's just a very sophisticated scientist. Which is kind of interesting about that is that no matter what, like I would like to know, honestly, if there was a way to go back in time and meet Honda and Tsuburaya, I would want to know why. Why did they always choose him to be a scientist?
Because there always needs to be a scientist to challenge Godzilla, to question what he is.
Now, here's something that I'm going to say about one of the other actors we were talking about, as, like, you know, from just the original film, and he's appeared in a few other ones. The way I like to explain this actor is he's kind of like maybe the Clint Eastwood or, you know, the Michael or Kirk Douglas of, you know, Toho at times, and it's Takashi Shimura. Because with Shimura, he was very, you know, he's one of those old men where he always was like the nice old grandfather-looking character, but yet he was such a badass. You know what I'm saying? Like, you think like, oh hey, that's just your granddad, or that's just your old father.
That's
but then like he
just
comes in and he brings that presence that lifts the cast up even further. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was like that. He's like a good example for, you know, younger kids and, you know, people getting introduced to Godzilla. He's like Bryan Cranston level of like legendary Godzilla in a sense, where him in that film just elevated.
Yeah.
You know,
because he was just coming off of like Seven Samurai, right? At that time.
No, they were. I think filming he was filming both back to back.
Okay.
Like, that's like one of the things I find very interesting. Like, when we look at like our lists and when we talk about what's going on, because like a lot of these guys, just from the first movie alone, laid the groundwork. You know what I'm saying? And even Kenji Sahara, who in the original Godzilla film only had like 2 damn scenes as just some party goer, ended up becoming the backbone of Toku, to the extent that when Tsuburaya brought him back in Ultraman Mebius, they tried to make him a big deal as like the head of the, you know, government, you know, defense agency. You know what I'm saying? Like the head of like all the UN, in a sense, their defense guy. Excuse me, I apologize for the burp, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you were in the original Godzilla film, you somehow tend to reappear later on. You know, you at least had a way to show up, because like Kenji Sahara, I think Matt Frank said it the best, and I think I referred to it in either Visible Ninja's Ninja Talks Live or the last podcast we were on, either before or in the post-production, where, as Matt Frank said, in Godzilla vs. Mothra, that's like one of the few times we ever see Kenji Sahara play like a really mean guy, where in the rest of the Godzilla series, he's always like either a very kind of nice dopey dude, or he's like a very smart dude, but he's just like, you know, an average kind of Joe-ish kind of guy in the Showa era. And then, you know, in Mothra, he's like a slimy, evil, you know, businessman.
Yeah.
Like, what's your thoughts on Sahara?
I liked him in Rodan. Like, that's how I remember him, kind of, is that he was like the protagonist in Rodan.
Yeah, which is weird, because like, I love him in Rodan. Like, honestly, I felt though it was one of his, even though he was the lead, I felt at times it was one of his lesser. I feel like it's one of his lesser roles. Like, I felt like the high mark of that movie for his character specifically was like when he rams the mining cart into the Meganula, right? And then he gets trapped, and then you see the flashback of him like being put into shock from the Rodan. Like, I felt like those were like his 2 big scenes in the film. Even though he was still like the character that they followed throughout the film, I felt like once the Rodan got out of the craters, in a sense, the movie was more directed on the government, the military, and, you know, Harata finding out what the hell this was, you know? It felt like it was more gauged to be around that element of what is this terror, which was kind of interesting when you look at it.
But yeah, I also remember him from Mothra vs. Godzilla. Like, he and I forget who he was playing with as well. Like,
it was actually, if I recall, either Jun Tazaki or one of the other guys that worked good with Tazaki. I can't remember his name. It was the slimy guy, right? The one that was like, the one that he screwed over, and then at the end kills him, and then gets killed by Godzilla.
Yeah, like, they both represent like the bad side of like human greed, just like consuming them. Like they don't really trust each other, and he's like stealing money from this guy and doesn't really care about it because it's all money for him. And it's kind of fitting that they both die because they're both consumed
Jun
by
Tazaki was the editor in this one, and it was Yoshifumi Tamajima who was in it. And the only other thing he's best known for is being in an episode of Ultra Q, a gangster in Dagora, and one of the cast members of Duel at Ichijoji Temple in Samurai Part 2. But yeah, no, that's like one of the things. And I'm looking at our list that you and me were compiling earlier, and I'm just trying to narrow it down so we can probably get to, get more towards the films themselves. Because I'm like looking, I'm like, we had at least 2 other names on our list. So give me 1 minute. This is just me.
I just want to give a little shout out to the Peanuts.
Yeah, like the Peanuts, here's the thing. I don't feel like they really assisted the movies too much outside of the initial Mothra film. And I know that's going to be weird, but that's what I always thought,
I always thought like they took their roles like very seriously to the point anytime I do look at them, I think they're the twins. Like they are going to summon Mothra somehow. Like they did like a great job in kind of expressing what those characters were supposed to do and mean.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I was doing a little bit more research.
Oh.
And I just discovered something really kind of ironic.
Uh-oh.
So there was an actor that I put on my list because even though he only appeared in like 4 kaiju films and his filmography is limited to like 8 films, which was Tadao Takashima. He was one of the main guys in King Kong versus Godzilla. He was one of the scientists in Frankenstein Conquers the World, War of the Gargantuas. He was one of the scientists, the son of Godzilla. But I've just discovered his son, Masahiro Takashima, was actually in Gunhead, Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2, and Godzilla vs. Destroyer.
That's
and in Godzilla 2, he was actually Aoki, who piloted the Garuda. And his other son is also an actor.
Yeah, but wasn't his other son also in Biollante?
No, his other son is actually from El Change the World. Now, I could be wrong, and they could actually be the twins.
I think they're twins. I don't
know if they're the twin. I think they're the twins. Yeah, they're the twins. They're the twins that piloted the Super X 2 and 3. I think.
Yeah.
Masanobu was Biollante, and Masahiro was the one who replaced his own brother in Destroyer.
Yeah. Like no one can really tell the difference though, because they're twins.
Here's the thing, they're not actually twins.
Oh.
I think they were born a year apart, but they have that. What is it? No, it's that thing of. This is a thing in biology, is that if you supposedly in that time frame of when you just got off of your like first pregnancy, and it's like after that safe area of when you should be able to have a kid again, there's like a weird residual thing where the kid may end up like looking like an identical twin bullshit.
Oh,
it's like a really thing about biology.
I'm trying to think of like who had that recently. I want to say it's one of the Afflecks, but I think that's wrong. I think it's the Baldwins. The Baldwins have that.
But yeah, no, it was just funny noticing. I'm like, wait a second, these names look familiar, and then it's like, duh.
Dun 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 dun
dun dun dun dun dun da da da.
Also, shout out to Nick Adams.
Oh yeah, it's weird. He's only been in like 2, maybe 3.
But he handled it with such professionalism. He didn't look at it as like lower films. He looked at them.
Yeah, that was the one thing that I've always respected about the stories that have been told about Nick Adams. He was friends with Elvis. He was friends with Steve McQueen, and he treated the Godzilla films like what they should have been. I feel like when he went over there, he was like, oh, I'm going to be in it because it's going to be like a cool action kind of movie. And like, I feel like when he was there learning about, the Japanese culture, and they were telling him about like what his role was going to be, I think, especially in Frankenstein Conquers the World, it meant more to him in a sense, because I remember there were jokes where I think Takarada said, can I be dubbed by like some certain actor or whatever? And he was like, nah, I don't think they'll do that.
I find it funny that he had the same love interest in both movies.
Well, that's because he was actually having an affair with her.
Are you serious?
You never heard that story?
I have not.
If I recall correctly, in a biography about a biography written by one of his kids or whatever, they were stating about how a lot of like it was either one of his kids or one of his closest friends that he allegedly had an affair with Kimi Mizuno, as well as was bisexual.
Mm.
Like, there's never been confirmed. Like, I think there's claims that he was bisexual as well as had an affair with Kimi Mizuno. Because, like, when I've looked up information on Nick Adams, it's been very questionable. And I think even, like, a few of the other Godzilla historians have mentioned it in their books that it's never been confirmed or denied that it actually had occurred. Because the thing that I also heard about it was that one of his ex-wives, no, it was James Dean and Elvis Presley, not Steve McQueen. I apologize for that fuck up. But I just remember that he would do certain things. It was just very questionable. Because it's just very questionable indeed. Like I said, like either
I mean, I wouldn't be
exes or
shocked
whatever.
because their chemistry is like incredible.
Magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
and,
would
like,
think
that's the
that they
thing.
were going out, but I'm like,
Like,
no, that's not
like
possible.
either it was like an old wives' tale, or like I said, but like I've heard so many things on the internet, and I don't know if it will ever be proven. Like, I think the only one who would ever prove it to be true would be if Kimi Mizuno herself said it, and I doubt she would ever fucking say it.
I doubt it. She wouldn't do that to Nick.
I don't. No, the weird thing is like also like the weird thing is like it's funny because like I remember people saying like the Kimi Mizuno looks like a stone cold bitch, but it has like is like a heart of an angel kind of. I remember hearing someone say that like in an interview. Was like one of her own co-stars said when you see her from the outside, she and in movies she plays like a stone cold bitch, but like she has like like she's like a saint in real life kind of bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Because if you watch a lot of her films, she's always one of the strongest females in Toku, as well as in her other films that I've seen her in. Like, I've seen her in other
Wait,
stuff.
I'm reading it. Someone said that I'm just looking this up because I'm just reading. Because I got interested in this, but like Mizuno said that Adams actually proposed to her while he was staying in Japan, but she said no because she already had a fiance.
Yeah, but supposedly, like, they had an affair, supposedly, when she had an affair.
Supposedly.
So this one probably is confirming more of it. Because I didn't do more research on it in years, because I would have thought maybe...
This is very
something.
interesting that I didn't really expect this rabbit hole.
You did not expect it when, like, you're like, oh, Wheels, why'd you drop this bomb on me? Nigga, because you asked.
Well, I didn't expect, like, they're actually true. Like, I thought that maybe they were, like, in a relationship when I was watching Invasion of Astro-Monster.
Well, supposedly he probably was.
It's like, now that makes sense why they played so well together.
Anyways, we're going too off topic, and we're going to make this episode a little too long, but who gives a fuck?
Man,
It's TOHO Legends, damn it.
This is what? TOHO Legends. As we said, better than Marvel Legends.
Yeah, so, like, no, it's a good thing that I actually, like, wrote the list out and double-checked with you, because you were like, yeah, I'm going to take these names off, take these names off, take those names off, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And, yeah, no, it's just really crazy, you know what I'm saying? And there was one name that when I brought it up, I think, Mucha, you laughed at me originally, but then you kind of saw it and were like, nah, because when he appears in later films, even though he appeared only in, like, 2 other Godzilla films, and they were Heisei Era, he was still a good actor. And it's, Kazuhiko Sasaki, who was Goro Ibuki, the creator of Jet Jaguar, Akira Ichinose in Terra Mechagodzilla, the main character, and then Professor Masaki in King Ghidorah. Now, he did have a soldier role in Biollante, but his best roles are pretty much Ichinose and Masaki from Ghidorah and Terra Mechagodzilla, and I felt it was worth crediting because his father was Minoru Chiaki, who played Kobayashi in, Godzilla Rage Again. Problem is, though, like, he didn't like that role, never really wanted to explore tokusatsu or kaiju films after that, but was such a prolific actor for the samurai films he was in and other films he was in that was related to Kurosawa. So I felt, that even though he got a bad rap, his son, for being in Megalon, I felt that, he's a guy who at least did do what he needed to do in 2 other films when he got a second chance.
Yeah. I get you. I get you, Wheels. I get you.
And so I think we only have one more man that we have to talk about. Yeah, one more technical dude who would appear throughout several kaiju films. And Tokusatsu.
Oh, I
And
know
it's
who it is.
It's Hideo Yamamoto.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Jaws.
No, what the fuck? No, bad you. Bad. No, like, when you think about it, when you hear the name Hideo Yamamoto, if you are a Kamen Rider fan, you immediately know Shinigami Hakase. You're just like, damn, it's him. It's freaking him. And for us, we mostly know him for having just easily just a few random roles in a kaiju film, like a drunk, Princess Salno's aide, or, being Maki the Safecracker in Dogora, or, actually having a real, like, dead-on role being, like, Red Bamboo Naval Officer, who appears at least in 4 different scenes, Doctor Who and King Kong Escapes. And,
the crazy old man in GMK.
Yeah, or the weird pedophile scientist dude in All Monsters Attack.
I mean, it's not confirmed that he was a pedophile.
I know, but I know a lot of reviewers call him that. I shit you not, a lot of people who hate that film call that character a pedophile.
That's because they lack vision wheels. They lack vision.
I know. You, me, and a few other guys actually understand the film because we watched it in Japanese. Unlike the rest of the people.
The dub is terrible. Don't watch the dub of that movie.
Like, here's the thing. Growing up with the dub, it's not bad. Getting older with the dub, you want to kill yourself.
Well, when you hear, like, Minya going, Godzilla told me to defend myself.
Listen, if your voice is like that and you're Godzilla's son, I hope he leaves you, like, on a nuclear-rated island so you can, like, evolve to what you should be.
Kamada-kun.
Nigga, no. Shut the fuck up.
Listen, persecution the Masters will play. That will roam Tokyo.
That's what. Oh my god, you just reminded me of Matt Frank's version of Manila. Manila. You've seen that, right?
Yeah.
Shin Minya. Oh god. That thing was traumatizing.
Did you ever see the video where someone put the lyrics to "Persecution of the Masses" to scenes of Son of Godzilla, where Minya's having his tantrum and everything? And his eyes go wide, and it's basically it's dubbing Minya's singing "Persecution of the Masses." It's pretty great.
I need to see this.
Yeah.
And if possible, if you can get me the link before I upload the episode, I can put it in the description for people to go check when they get to the point.
Oh God.
Because we need people to know about this.
Yes.
As well as people who didn't know about the Kimi Mizuno affair. Now you know there is some possibilities that it did happen.
It's just, I'm shocked.
But yeah, no, we should probably talk about at least 2 of the only women that we can think of that actually laid groundwork in Toku films, because they actually had more than 1 film. Dun dun dun.
So not in Nakagawa. And Fingadora.
She passed. You got me there with the whole dead thing. It's weird. She was a powerful female, but I just felt like the character was weird. I like the actress. I've heard so many good stories about her, but it just, the movie pains me, and you know why it pains me, because we've had this argument and discussion and debate of how we calculated why people don't understand what the fuck is going on.
Listen, oh God, Wheels, next episode we're talking about this.
No, we're not.
We're talking about the timeline.
The timeline.
Doing it.
No.
Yes, Wheels, we gotta.
I don't even remember what we're. Oh no, I remember what we're doing next episode. Don't lie to me, Mucha. Don't lie to me. Next episode, I already know what we're doing. We can do that in episode 26. The timeline. Wait, did we even plan out our 25th episode?
No.
Fuck, then it's the 25th episode. Dun dun dun.
The season finale.
We're not even in the season finale. It's just the mid-season finale.
Shush.
No, you shush.
Shush.
No, you shush. So yeah, we should probably let's just go with Kimi Mizuno first, cause
the affair.
The affair that shook Mooch's world. So you talk about Kimi Mizuno, because every time I talk about her, it usually leads to me messaging Matt Frank and us gushing over her.
But that's what I'm gonna do. How is that gonna change anything?
I won't be really perving out while you're perving out.
So you're basically throwing me under the bus.
Yeah, because I'll be on mute while doing it.
Oh God! Wait, what are you gonna be doing on mute?
Making a sandwich. What do you think I was gonna do? Be like Visible Ninja and actually masturbate?
Well, that was my assumption.
Well, assumption is cumption. I don't know. Just go on.
Like, what do you want me to say that we've already said because we were talking about the affair?
More about her actual role in Invasion of the Astro-Monster, Frankenstein Conquers the World, War of the Gargantuas, Matango.
Okay, so you want me to talk about like how she was played great as like some sort of conflicted person from her planet? Like she actually fell in love. Like her character fell in love with Nick Adams' character, and she was like trying so hard to fight that like the sensation. That kind of whole deal.
The best way to explain it is she dies kind of like a weird martyr. And, like,
Yeah.
at first she's the bad guy, then she's the good guy. She's, like, a conflicted, like, turncoat. But then when you look at her other roles, she's, like, this girly girl in War of the Gargantuas and in Frankenstein Conquers the World. But then she's super bitch in Matango. Like, she's...
But she's so innocent in Sea Monster.
Oh, yeah. Oh, dude, I always forget it's her because, you know, blackface.
Well, they were trying to go for the whole, like, Infant Island
French
kind of
Polynesian.
thing,
Yeah, French Polynesian. Which they somewhat sort of captured better than when they tried to do it in goddamn King Kong versus Godzilla. Know what I'm talking
just
about.
a tad bit better.
Listen. They at least made some of the people on Infinite Island look Polynesian tan, but when they did King Kong versus Godzilla, like, there was at least 3 guys that were, like, actual notable Toho actors in straight-on blackface. I will still never understand that. But yeah, no, like, I don't know what is about Kimi Mizuno. Like, I think a friend of mine...
She has a strange appeal to her that
like,
I can't really describe.
I think my friend Matthew said it the best to me once. And he said to me growing up... Now, this is not Matt Frank. I'm actually talking about a guy I grew up with who would watch Godzilla movies with me on Once in a Blue Moon when we weren't watching wrestling. My friend Matthew said that she kind of makes you feel like she's the Japanese Marilyn Monroe.
I could see that. I could see that kind of...
Like
at least from
analogy.
our perspective of, like,
yeah.
as Toku fans, like, when I see her, it's kind of like that feeling of, like... I wouldn't say, like, a girl next door, but kind of something similar to that.
She knows how to play the bad girl and the girl next door. Like when she's out in front of, like, your parents or out in public, she plays the good girl. But when, like, you get her, like, alone, she's like, yo, I want to fuck on the kitchen table.
Is that what she told Nick Adams?
No, she probably said, let's do it out on the balcony and make Frankenstein watch.
Oh, I sent the video wheels.
Yeah, I heard the blip twice. Like, I was like, God damn it, he sent it in every chat, didn't he?
Yeah, I did.
Damn right. So people will hear when I actually got sent the video. So, like, that's the thing about her. Like, she had that presence about her. She had that, like, facade. When you see her, she just glowed. She had
a
aura.
presence. She had a presence to her.
She put fear into you.
She put fear. No, she put love.
She did both.
She's like Japanese Wonder Woman.
Dude,
I just... Yeah. Now, but let's create this time machine, Leo. Let's do it!
I thought we needed to go make the adaptations for the other shows.
Fuck it. We'll do both.
Okay. Alright, so the other one chick I wanted to really talk about was Akihiko Bayashi, who, you know, is a Bond girl. She's a fucking Bond girl.
Oh, yeah, I love her, man. She's also big.
Like, there's a thing about her where, like, she looks venomous, but yet so elegant. And, like, when she's, like, the you know, Princess Selena Salno in Ghidorah, I never really, like, fell in love with, like, just seeing her on screen. But when I saw her in, like, Dagora and Ultra Q and Ultraman, like, in her few appearances, I was like, nah, this bitch.
When I saw her, when she became, like, the Venusin, or I guess Marsha.
Yeah, Ghidorah.
Yeah, and Ghidorah, that's when I fell in love with her. I don't know, something about that performance.
It was weird. Like, I never really enjoyed that performance really that much. And for some reason, I liked her, like I said, in Dagora, her appearances in Q, and Ultraman. I just liked it.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's because of, like, how, like, determined and, like, unaware she was. She kind of acted like a Starfire. Like, she didn't really understand, like, Earth customs or anything. She just kind of went like, okay, listen, so I'm going to tell you something here. Godzilla's going to attack this boat. You should stop. But, like, no sense of, like, elegancy or anything. She just says it as it is. And that's kind of, like, amusing to me.
She's just like, yo, I'm gonna tell you what's about to go down. Shit's about to get real. I don't give a fuck. Get the fuck out of here
Yeah.
if you want to live. Yeah. No, and here's the funny thing too. I'm doing a little bit more research on some of her other stuff, and like it's so interesting. Like her filmography is so limited. Like I know some of it's also limited due to the fact that some people just haven't put it on like the English Wikipedia or maybe IMDb, but it's just crazy about when you look at some of these actors we've seen not just in Godzilla films but in other films Toho produced or television Toho produced that like barely anyone knows of it, even though they're in our fandom or community. And I've also noticed that a lot of fans in the modern era at times don't gravitate to researching a lot of the actors unless you're one of those people like we are to know more about the actors. And I also feel like another thing about current fans is that they're just too geared to Toei. Toei really has a lot of the fandom by the balls. So people never go like look back at older stuff or explore the other products.
I think it's more like accessibility. I guess because a lot of the times the Sentai and Rider were free because there was no one really distributing them. It made it easier for them to access it, where like the Godzilla movies, you have to buy them for the most part.
Possibly, because I do realize a lot of people now on the internet are uber cheap.
Yeah.
I can be at times too.
Can we also talk about Momoko Koichi, the one who played Emiko in the original?
Yeah, you can talk about her because I don't really have much to say because she was only in like 2 or 3 kaiju films or at least Toho classics because I think she was in the H-Man. I think
she was in Mysterians.
In Mysterians, and she was in the original 54.
And she also returned
decides to show up in Destroya.
Well, yeah, I kind of
like... Takarada didn't.
That's because he was already in Mothra and stuff like that. He already did his...
No, I heard he actually would not appear in the film because he thought Godzilla shouldn't die again. I think was one of his...
But Godzilla didn't die, Wheels. He died and gave his life energy to his son, so that he...
That's still dying, so shut the fuck up.
No, he gave his life energy. Umiko is kind of an interesting character because she's put in like a difficult situation of where should she like finally give up the information about like Serizawa's like experiment, because the Oxygen Destroyer is potentially the only thing that could probably kill Godzilla. But she's very loyal to Serizawa. She trusts Serizawa. She still considers him kind of like part of her life and family, even though that she doesn't necessarily love him in the sense of like a husband and wife, but in the sense of brotherly love. Like she looks at him as like a big brother, and it's very difficult because it's kind of like you don't want to expose something that's very important to someone you care about. But at the same time, this one thing could probably change something important for the world. In this case, the Oxygen Destroyer. And I kind of liked how she was brought back briefly in Destroya, and she's still kind of haunted by those memories of what happened to Serizawa.
Listen, he took it upon himself. He was like, well, if I live, even if I choose to live, people are going to come after me.
Yeah, but she still kind of feels guilty about it. Like, I think she feels partly responsible for his death.
Listen, I understand why she feels responsible, but here's the thing. And I think that's because I think, as Visible Ninja said, what was it, last week when we were talking, that I'm one of those realists where, like, when it comes to the greater good of humanity, if this person needs to make that sacrifice to make sure people will survive kind of thing, I don't feel like it should haunt me. But then you never know what could happen to me subconsciously. But yeah.
Well, it's one thing to like sacrifice your life, but it's another thing to like how that sacrifice will have ramifications to people. Like you can't stop someone from feeling guilty about certain actions.
Well, here's the thing. This is the one where his I guess, honorable, God, I'm trying to think, because I'm going to use the meme, and people are going to forget that it's a meme on here, where a friend of ours calls suicide, Sudoku. He actually calls it Sudoku for some reason.
Oh, yeah. I call it Sudoku. You're talking about me!
No, another friend of mine calls, actually, it's Sudoku.
That's funny.
Which is weird. Yeah, he actually calls it Sudoku. What's the actual term called? Fuck.
A seppuku.
Seppuku, yeah. Nah, like, his version of seppuku isn't like a seppuku where it's like one of those suicides where, like, it should haunt you, per se, because it made sense why he had to die. It's like kind of like that bullshit at the end of Terminator 2 when he's like, now I must go into the vat of melting lava. You know? It's that, like, if people now know this weapon exists, I burnt my research and I now must die because I created something worse than the hydrogen bomb, the A bomb and stuff. So it's one of those ones I think where, like, I see where it could affect those that were, like, really close to you, but I also feel like if I was in that position, I don't think it would royally wreck me because it's like, no, you have to do it for the greater good. Like, I will mourn your loss, but it is, in a sense, technically better because as long as that research is gone, it will still take a shit ton of years for the people that want to try to recreate your fucking weapon actually figure it out. And technically, it took them almost 40 more years just to get somewhere
Similar
close to what
to
he
it.
was up to. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Like,
It was,
for Serizawa,
like
it was after he heard, like, the prayer, like, everybody, like...
Well, yeah, like, he literally hears the prayer, the song, and then he realizes, I'm a dick.
Well, it's not like he realizes that he's a dick. He realizes that, I can't not do nothing. I see that the people are suffering, everybody's dying. It's a difficult decision he has to make. I guess if somebody could loosely see that as, like, the situation where someone had to drop the A-bomb to stop, like, a war.
Yeah, like, I think, like, when you think about her career in, like, you know, kaiju films, this is the one that really stood out for her, whereas, like, her other roles, people kind of don't either remember, because the movies have been distributed very poorly in North America, H-Man and Mysterians, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's been very... So I can understand why she's still a leading woman, but, like, when you think about it, she's been in so few.
Yeah.
But I think it's still that portrayal, like you say, of Emiko that keeps her, you know, long living. And when it comes to overall films, let's just name, like, 3 apiece that, like, because we're going to go to overtime unless we do it now. Like, we need to know, like, what do you think? What do I think? What are 3 movies that you think, like, it was just the cast that was just legendary in their own right, like, just being together?
Oh, man. Like, there's a lot of casts that I really enjoy that really bring movies to life in the Godzilla franchise. I really like the cast of Invasion of Astro-Monster. I feel like they really brought that movie to life to where it's so memorable. You know, I feel like everybody remembers Invasion of Astro-Monster because everybody in that movie felt significant and they all brought their characters to life. Especially, I love the Kumi and Nick Adams chemistry. Like, their chemistry was great, and just how Nick Adams had chemistry with everybody, even though he was like a foreigner. I feel like that really says a lot about the people involved. I don't know about you.
Yeah, no, I would agree, but even though I like Invasion of the Astro-Monster and it's a really solid film by cast, I actually prefer the smaller cast in Frankenstein Conquers the World, where it was more skimmed down, because my issues with actually Invasion of the Astro-Monster at times is a bit of, I at times don't actually like the alien aspect of Godzilla films for some reason. Sometimes I just don't think they apply well.
Well, I guess I was saying, like, a cast involving Nick Adams and...
Oh, no. But no, I understand what you're talking about, like a cast that resonates well together. No, it's a cast that does, but, like, for my, I guess, choice of the 3, it would be Frankenstein Conquers the World.
I mean, both are correct answers in there.
Yeah, they're both, because they're Nick Adams movies.
Yeah. I know we talked about, like, how, like, everybody was very, I guess, kind of stiff and old-fashioned in that movie, but I really do enjoy the cast of the 54 film.
Right, I'm going to agree with you. It's just because it's set the standard, you know, it's really,
like,
it's there, it's above and beyond.
Even though it's, like, their first attempt at, like, this tokusatsu drama or genre, they all surprisingly pull off, like, being real people amazingly. Like, they really get you grounded into, like, the reality of Godzilla in this world. Like, you feel like their conflicts, you feel like their struggles, and you feel like okay, I understand where these people are coming from. And it's tough to really say they're wrong, but it's also tough to say that you agree with them as well, depending on how you feel.
Yeah, I completely get that. It's one of those ones where, with the actors, they have that ethics about them of coming off of, American occupation, witnessing 2 atom bombs dropped on them, knowing that America's been testing bombs, technically off their coasts in the ocean nearby, so it's a really good way of depicting, the fear they had after, they lost in World War II, the fact that they're getting over that shit, the fact that they're having to come to terms with stuff that has occurred. It makes a lot of sense, and it brings a lot of like power to the story, in a sense, how they all
A sense of
approach
pathos.
it. Yeah. I guess for my third film, because I'll go next, and then you can close us out, but I really feel like my third film is going to be one that catches people off guard, because, now, this is the one that, when I always say it is a favorite cast of mine, that throws people really off guard, is usually Godzilla Raids Again, but, that movie gets shit on, and I'm going to go with
It's
one that's
weird,
a little
because I
bit
don't
more-
even hate that film. It's weird.
Yeah, a lot of people hate that film, and I don't understand why they hate it.
I hate Gigantus the fire monster, but
I think it's because of Gigantus people hate that film, really.
Yeah.
I really do feel like it. But my film where I think the cast, just, destroys. And when I mean destroys, I mean, they just come in there and they kind of have you, really hooked in there and solid, is technically the majority of the human element and aspect of Terror of Mechagodzilla. Even with the goddamn, black hole aliens in there still trotting around, going, oh, we're going to take over the world because we stupid-ass monkeys blew up our own planet. But, with Mechagodzilla, I feel like the Terror of Mechagodzilla, the aspects that they were going for with,
there's a lot of weight in that movie.
Yeah, there was, a bit, I kind of feel like the guy who did Ghost in the Shell watched this movie. I feel like he had to have watched this movie to get some of the inspiration he went with.
Now, to be clear before anyone gets angry at us, we're only talking about the Showa films at the moment. Because if we were talking about, if we're going to go beyond, Heisei and stuff, it's going to be, a tough task to just keep on narrowing everything down. So we're just going to...
Yeah, we're talking about Legends, and we're talking about, the movies that really set the course of everything that was to come. Technically, sort of 84 kind of gets on there because it was being planned since the freaking late 70s and early
Shin Godzilla.
80s.
I would put Shin Godzilla's cast there, because I think it's because of how they kept on...
Wait, your final one actually is already Shin Godzilla? Whoa, what the fuck?
No. I'm just talking about, ones in the future. Since we're sticking with the Showa, I was saying, I like other ones from, the Heisei and so on. In the Heisei era, but I'm sticking with the Showa.
But yeah, I was just saying, though, Terror of Mechagodzilla, I felt like there was just something about it where it catches you off guard, and I think it's because, one, it is the send-off to Godzilla, as well as Honda was back, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think it really...
I like the Terra Mechagodzilla cast a lot. I also like the Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla cast. But one that might surprise people, and I think it's just because I just remembered him so kindly, is actually the cast from Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster. I don't know if you feel that way, Wheels, but I just remember how they kind of did feel like these ragtag group of guys that just were in a shitty situation and they're just going to try to get themselves out of it.
It's literally Hero Club, the Godzilla movie. If we all got stuck on a fucking island, and we're like, well, how are we going to get out of this one? All right, well, we're going to take the remains of Wheels' wheelchair and turn it into some kind of weird, old school, air suction catapult. Or we're going to take the belt straps, use them as a conveyor belt, use the wheels, and use them as we spin the wheels real fast. We'll slingshot coconuts at the bamboo army, hijack their guns, take their base, and find a way to free the goddamn slaves and get the hell out of here.
And then I'm going to be like, guys, I'm going to wake up Godzilla. And you're like, no, Mucha, why? But
wakes up Godzilla, bam, fucked. No, Godzilla starts fighting fucking Ebra. We get away on the boat, but as we're still getting away on the boat, Godzilla's like, yo, what the fuck is this? Blows up boat, and we're just jumping into the water going, damn it, Mucha! Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster, written by us.
No, I think it's just because I just remembered them so, they did a lot of things that were memorable to me. They kind of kept the energy of
It's
that
weird,
movie alive.
as a kid, I loved that film. And as I've gotten older, I vaguely want to have nothing to do with that film. And I don't know why. I think it's just because like the picture quality is kind of ass on the version I have, and I don't want the updated version because it's a brand new dub, and I hate the new dub compared to the older campy Omni Productions dub.
I gotcha.
So I don't know. That's just me.
But then again, the answer is that a lot of them have good casts because that's why we talk about them.
It's usually the problem with some of the movies though isn't really the cast.
It's more the
sometimes
directing.
The directing, because as I almost coughed and again, like one of the problems is like look at Gigan. Gigan looks like a Godzilla vs. Gigan looks like an interesting film, but the problem with it is there's a lot of like stock footage and a lot of parts where they have to rely really on the kaiju aspect than the actual super weird ragtag hippies trying to take out a bunch of cockroaches.
Though to be fair, they were kind of stiff.
I think the only character in that movie was technically the artist and his girlfriend, who was played by Anne from Ultra 7.
I heard that it really hurt I forget who said it, but it really hurt them to really use the stock footage because they didn't really want to, but they just didn't have the budget or time to really make new stuff. So they tried their best to try to make do with what they could.
I think that was Tanaka who said that the best.
Yeah.
Because what was it too? They were really trying to do a lot of crazy shit with that.
Because
movie.
like the original idea was like King Ghidorah would return and he would come back with 2 other guys, and then Godzilla would team up with 2 other kaiju.
Yeah, and I think that would have been a weirder story because then they would even set it even further past the year 1999, and it would have hurt their budget even further. Anyways, no, like when you look at it though, the Showa era has magic to it. The Heisei era, not so much because it's just Godzilla.
At least I think it has magic to me.
Yeah, to you. I mean, I mean, there's still magic in there for me, but like I usually have to bust out my crack pipe or get on some Percocet. The only reason Wheels really hates the Heisei era is usually because a lot of the Japanese just really love it, and I get annoyed by it very much. And there was also that time when I was talking to somebody about War of the Gargantuas, and they were like, "I never heard of that film," and I'm like, "You live in Japan! How do you not know of this film?" I'm not gonna name names here, but let's just say he has an S in his name.
Oh, okay, I got it.
Yep. And technically, most people only refer to him as S, so that narrows it down for a lot of people.
DMX gonna get you!
But nevertheless, if we ever approach Godzilla Legends again, we're probably going to try to coordinate a little bit better, Mucha. But yeah, no, like, as you can say, Mucha, like, if we were to ever go back and do a Heisei version, I feel like a lot of the Showa guys would roll over, as well as, like, a few of the names that we do see reoccur in the Heisei era, too. Because, like, you know what's one thing I'm going to say right now? I kind of find it weird that when you look at, like, before we even do it in a future episode, I find it weird that when they did the Rebirth of Mothra trilogy, like, no one from the Godzilla movies rolled over into those movies. Like, you ever find that just a little bit weird?
I find it amusing. Why didn't Godzilla fight the alien version of Ghidorah in the Heisei era? We'll never know, but...
Oh, man. That's because they were idiots. We've seen the Untold films, which we'll have to address one day again.
What, you mean the untold story of how Godzilla was going to fight the Space King Ghidorah?
Yeah, don't forget, guys, we will come back to Concepts and Creations one day. Possibly sometime soon.
Maybe next episode, who knows?
Who knows? Probably not next episode, though, because we already have shit planned for you next episode.
Maybe.
Yes, we do. Don't lie to them. But yeah,
We're canceled, what are you talking about?
Shut up. But yeah, no, I am Wheelchair21. This has been, Janitor Joker. This has been our episode for TOHO Legends. It's went on a little longer than we thought. But, you can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, as well as our individual pages. You can probably see them either maybe in the links below, over on, our social media accounts if you're already following us, or on our actual YouTube channel if you're not actually on it while watching this video. We insist that you subscribe, like, and share with a friend. As well as for next week, since we do actually have a plan, that Mucha says we don't have a plan, even though we planned it out before we did this episode, we will be doing another Let's Make a Hero segment where Mucha and myself will try to create a brand new what-if kind of hero, or, a hero that could work with pre-existing material within a Sentai, Kamen Rider, or Metal Hero, so on and so forth. As well as we're actually going to be looking at a Kamen Rider movie, Shin Kamen Rider Prologue, which, honestly, the only reason we came up with that idea was because we were just randomly talking about how you know, the guy from Mechagodzilla 2 was the bad guy, as well as Shin's father was Flash Yellow's father.
Yeah.
And that's where we ended up with that. So, you know, we'll see you next time, same channel, so on and so forth. And, you know what? Luckily, there's not that much I have to edit. LOL, there's a lot I have to edit. Hey, it's Wheelchair21, and thanks again for listening to an all-new episode of Los Ingobernables de Tokusatsu. If you want to hear more content or see more content from the Hero Club YouTube channel, we're going to need you to subscribe, like, comment with some feedback, and share this channel with a friend. We also would like you to check out our website, hero-club.com, and follow us on various social media outlets just by looking up Hero Club for Life, as well as the stores you see are where we shop. Anyways, thanks again, and we'll see you all next time.